This week on the Computer Chronicles, robots. Anyone can build a robot these days thanks to the Robotics Invention System from Lego. We'll show you how it works. This is Terminator, an award-winning robot built by several high school students in California. And would you like to pet Aibo? He's the absolute latest in consumer robots. We'll show you what he can do. Plus, we'll meet Sai, a new robot that you can program on your home computer. And finally, Pioneer 2, a robot that can see. Also, my pick of the week, a new robot game that is absolutely addictive. It's all coming up next on the Computer Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is brought to you by BigStar.com, with thousands of videos and DVDs for the whole family. Additional support by TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology news. And by TVA, Television Associates, bridging the worlds of computers and video with DVD authoring and MPEG encoding services.
Hi, and welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet. Well, if you've read any science fiction, been a fan of sci-fi movies, you've no doubt thought about and been fascinated by robots, mechanical creatures with computer brains that can sort of act like people. Today, there are thousands of robots doing industrial tasks like welding and assembling cars, but the dream of that little personal robot, a little mechanical helper, still seems rather far away. What we want to do today is bring you up to date on the state of the art in robotics, and the first step is just rolling up your sleeves and understanding what it's like to build and program a robot. Fortunately, there's a very easy way to do that these days with a whole range of robot kits from Lego Mindstorms. And Soren, you're going to be our guide here. What's the basic idea of building a robot with one of your kits?
Okay, in the Robotics Invention System set, you have this RCX here. That's the heart of the product.
So that's a little computer.
Intelligent Lego brick. It has here inbuilt infrared communication, can communicate with your PC.
Okay.
Input ports for sensors like touch sensor and light sensor.
All right.
Output ports here for motors to put on.
All right.
You build something, you go to a computer, you make your program, you download the program, and off you go.
All right, so let's do that. Write a little program for us. Just a simple thing to demonstrate.
First I have to build it.
All right.
Let me just see, I put here a motor on. I have my touch sensor here.
So output is a motor?
Yes, input is a touch sensor.
Touch sensor.
Okay. I've just almost finished the product, a program here.
Yeah.
I have my touch sensor. When I press it, I want the motor to stop. When I release it...
So the motor starts on, touch stop,
Yes.
release.
When I release it, the motor runs and reverse direction. And let's say I don't know where it is, I want to hear it. So let's just find a
Tell it to beep.
I take a beep here, and I put a beep right on there.
Right, so this might be, it runs into a wall and it says, hey, stop, go backwards.
Exactly. Now
Okay.
I download the program.
So you're sending it from the PC into that little RCX
Exactly.
unit.
They start communicating. It will say beep when ready.
Okay, so it's going through that IR port. There you go.
Off it goes.
So show us your little program
Okay,
now.
I turn the motor on. You see it goes.
Okay, so
now
the motor was on.
And now
Hit the touch sensor. You
should
told
stop.
it. Okay.
And reverse direction. And
Back.
beep. You see that? One
All right.
way, the
So
other
we're
way.
a little robot program.
As easy as that.
All right, let's do something a little more complicated and go to some of these
Okay,
guys you've
okay.
built over here and start with this guy. What does he do?
This is my inventor bot, and he's programmed to say hello to you. And then
All right.
we'll see what happens. If you just say hi to
So
him.
just sort of give him a little touch on the hand
Yes.
there, and he's going to take a walk over toward me.
Okay, let's see
And
what
he's-
happens. He may throw something after you.
I think what he's about to do.
Be careful. Okay.
There we go.
off
All
you
right,
go.
so he shoots baskets. That's a Michael Jordan robot. there.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you have more than
These
one
guys, yeah.
robot, let me show you here with two RCXs, they can communicate.
So these little like mouse type creatures.
Myself here, right? I've made the young guy and the teacher here. So the teacher
So
will...
teacher, student.
Yes, teacher will tell you what to do.
So you've programmed this guy. He's doing a dance.
Yes.
And he's actually then going to send his program to this guy.
Exactly.
Through
just
the
now.
IR ports.
And then off he goes.
So he's duplicating exactly what the
Exactly.
teacher just told him to do.
When he's learned that, the teacher will tell you, now we can do it together. Off they go.
That's cool.
So just take a little dance, forwards and back.
All right,
so
let's go.
He's a fast learner here.
I guess so. All right, let's go to now. You have
Okay.
a simpler system here with this robot.
Yes, I do.
And show us what this thing is.
The
using
little
that
brother
unit.
to the RCX called the Scout here. You program it directly on the brick.
So not on the PC, right in the unit.
Right here, you don't need a PC, right?
Okay, what can you tell him to do inside there?
For example, you can say go forward, turn left, do zigzag, some movements.
Okay.
And you can also give it behavior like a bug behavior. If you build an intruder alarm, you can make it be an
All
intruder
right, so
alarm.
what did you program this guy to do? Let's move him out of the way so
Okay.
you can see this.
This bug here we've made
Yeah?
has two touch sensors here. So if it hits something, it will go back.
Change direction. Okay.
Exactly. It has a bug behavior into it. So if it just walks a little bit and nothing happens, it will make a little bug dance
So
for
going to
you.
be bumps into something.
Yes,
He knows
it
not to
turns.
do that.
Okay, now see the bug dance. It got a little tired. And again, it just goes back. Just
Yeah.
like that.
And that was just done through that little thing.
Exactly.
All right, real
through this
quick,
one
you
here.
have
Yes.
kind of R2-D2 here, and what is this about?
Okay. We have another intelligent brick inside with one motor in it.
So this is yet another system.
Yet another system. If we turn it on, we just need a little space here.
Yeah.
Okay, and we say run. And we'll check out where to go. Let's just see what it does. Okay. And after that, it will find its direction and off it will go.
All right, lots of robots to build. Lego
Okay.
Mindstorms.
Take care now.
Well, if you're a little more advanced in your building and programming skills, you might want to move on to building a robot from scratch. That's exactly what a group of teenagers did at Woodside High School here in Northern California. And their robot, called Terminator, recently won the Western Regional Robotics Competition. And we have part of the team here, Matt and Brian and Emily. Emily, let me ask you, what was the point in the competition? What were you trying to build with Terminator? What were you trying to get it to do?
Our goal was to build a defensive robot that would basically grab onto a pole and lift its back up in order to keep the other team from scoring points.
Okay, so this was sort of a game, and you could design your robot to be offensive or defensive,
Right.
kind of a hockey game, and you decided on a defensive strategy. Can we walk over and take a look at Terminator so we can understand better what that means? So the defensive part, was this a sort of a goalie? Is that the idea?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and what is this thing supposed to do now?
What's going to happen is it's going to drive up to the pole, it'll latch on, and then as the rod turns, the back will pull up.
Okay, so it needs a sturdy base, so it's got to get a grab on that
Right.
pole and then pick itself up to block somebody from scoring.
Right.
All right, so what are you guys doing over here?
Okay, I've got the joysticks here, which control the drivetrain for the robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I have I control all the moving parts on the robot, such as arms and stuff.
All right, so why don't you do your thing now? And explain
Okay.
what you're doing.
Okay, we're moving forward here onto the pole.
Now we're locking onto the table leg.
All right, so it's got a nice sturdy base now, and now it's
Yeah.
got to lift this thing
And
to
now
block the
we're
goal.
now we're lifting the back end of the robot off the ground.
And how much weight is that, Emily, you're
About
lifting right there?
100 pounds.
So this has got to be a pretty sturdy, reliable
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
All right, now what is this over here?
This piece lifts up the scoring device up
All right,
into
so-
the air.
All right. Or let me get this is sort of the puck, or the thing you play with, right?
Yeah,
So if I put that in there, the object was,
to lift it up to 8 feet, so it would
and you
be
get a point,
considered.
well, you've scored a goal sort of if you've done that.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this out of the way here so we don't block the audience's view, and we'll leave that up there. And Emily, can we lower this, guys? Because I want to ask Emily to explain what's going on inside Terminator here. Let's get down here and sort of, what's inside here? What does the robot consist of?
Basically, you've got two motors, and as the motors turn, you've got a rod, and as that turns, you've got your cable, and the cable will get tighter and tighter and shorter, and as that happens and you're locked on, the back will just pull right up.
Well, you got a lot of motors, but there's a lot of electronics and little blinking lights here. Is that basically the motor controllers?
Those are basically the power and the limit switches and
Got it.
small programming.
Now, I want to ask you to try to explain this. This doesn't seem real complicated. I mean, locks onto a thing, picks itself up, etc. What was brilliant about this? Why did you guys win the competition? What was so cool about this compared to the other robots?
It's very simple, it's rugged, it's built well, so it's reliable, and it doesn't break.
It doesn't break.
It doesn't break.
So we might explain, when you go to one of these robot competitions, the big challenge is to get the darn thing to even do its job,
That's right.
Because this is complicated stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But this guy always works, and we've done it several times here, and it always works too. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we're going to take a look at Ibo, the robot dog. Don't go away. Well, about 20 years ago, I remember getting excited when the first personal computers became available. Couldn't wait to get my hands on one and start to program it. Well, now it's time to get excited about the first real personal robots and the challenge of programming, or maybe teaching them. This is the hottest new robot of the year. It is a robot pet called Ibo, and this is Mark who's going to explain it to us. Explain really what's inside this guy. I mean, he's just sitting here right now, but what's inside him?
Right. Stewart, there's a 64-bit RISC processor in here, which is basically the brains, the innards of Ibo, and it's totally autonomous, which means
So
that
you're not telling him what to do. There's no remote control. He's an animal.
yeah,
He
pretty
does
much.
what he wants to do.
Yes, artificial intelligence, if you will.
Okay. And how about all the motors? How articulated is he?
In each leg, there exists 3 separate motors to control leg movements. There's 3 motors in the tail, 3 motors in the head as well. Also has a touch sensor up here on the head.
All right, so like a real dog, if he's a good boy, I go like this, and he knows that's a reward. And if he's a bad boy, I sort of go like that, and he knows that's doing something bad.
Exactly. Also has a CCD camera built into
Oh,
its
so you
head.
can actually see. He didn't like you lifting him up there, that's for sure. All right, so that was pretty cool. You lift him up, you should have got upset about that, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. Okay. So he's got a little camera which you can see things. Now, what's the bit with the ball here?
The ball is pretty much designed for him to play with, as any normal dog would do.
But he's got to be in the mood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so I mean, it's not like play with ball. He says, if I feel like it, I do. If I don't, I don't.
You got it. It also has an internal gyro, so.
All right, so if he gets knocked over or the kid knocks him over, he knows how to get up?
Exactly.
He's obviously unhappy, so the yap.
He's unhappy.
And he can right himself. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
All right, now you got his brother over here, who's not quite as far along as he is. Let's open him up. Now, I take it you got a battery in there somewhere.
Yes.
And show us all of that.
Just
snap that little guy up.
There we go.
It's a rechargeable battery.
Yes, lithium ion.
Got it.
Lithium-ion
Okay, and
battery.
how long does he run then?
90 minutes per battery.
All right.
And it comes with 2 batteries standard.
Okay, now what's that little thing?
This is a flash memory chip that Sony refers to as memory stick.
Okay. So he's like, that's where he's recording all the stuff he's learning and his behaviors and so on?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a software package that comes in addition to IBO.
Okay.
And basically you can make the commands and the actions and behaviors more robust, if you will, and then download that onto the flash memory card, the memory stick, and then insert that into IBO.
All right, now, with this dog, I mean, again, he's just going to do what he wants to do, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Again, it's autonomous, so.
But he learns, right? I mean, you start, I mean, when you get the guy, he's the puppy and he doesn't know how to do much.
Correct.
And then sort of, it's trivial, but like with a Tamagotchi thing, you train him, you feed him, you're good to him, you're bad to him, he'll respond differently?
Yes, exactly. And he likes interaction as well. If you just turn him on and have him sitting in a room and then you take off, like go to run errands
like a
or whatever.
normal dog, if you ignore him, he's not going to be real happy.
Exactly.
Now, he's got little like eyes that blink here. What does that mean? I saw like little red things lit up or green things lit up.
Yeah, he's got infrared pickups built into his head, into his eyes here, if you will.
Ibo. No, you don't want to do something?
And
you're on TV.
Green for happy. I think he just figured that out.
Come on, there you go.
So green for happy, red if he's kind of displeased. And also has a built-in microphone.
Oh, so he can
in
hear
the head
noises?
as well. He can hear sounds, yes. There's a remote that comes with the unit as well. No voice recognition, but it does pick up sounds that interfaces with the software.
Can you sort of teach him to do a trick? I mean, will he respond to, say, sit or?
You can program it to do a trick, but as far as when it's going to perform that trick, that's totally up to it.
It's just like a darn dog.
You got it.
He's on his own. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh has been one of the world's centers for robot research, so it's no surprise that one of the first consumer robot companies is based in Pittsburgh. The company is called Probotics, and their first robot product for the home is named Cy, and Russ is going to tell us about Cy. Let me come over here and join you if I can, because we have Cy over there in the corner, and I want to look at him. What does Cy do? What's the point in Cy?
Cy is a domestic robot that you use in your house to help you do tasks.
So he can really do things. Like get drinks, vacuum, etc.
Dance as well. You can do many different tasks.
All right, let's go to the computer right now. And he runs off a PC, a Windows PC.
Correct. 95 or 98 operating systems.
Okay, so when you get Cy, first of all, he's got to learn what the house is like, right? Where obstacles are?
Exactly.
So
his environment, this is all gray area. This is area that he doesn't know.
Okay.
And you drive Cy simply by clicking on Cy with the mouse and the cursor, and then dragging him around.
And he learns the area and learns where an obstacle is, where a chair is, where a wall is,
Exactly.
Now, you've already done that for our studio, so Cy supposedly knows where everything is.
Exactly.
So go to that program you created when you taught Cy about our room.
Okay, there it is there.
And have him do something.
This is more or less what the studio looks like.
Okay.
I go up here and I open up the PBS Zap program.
Okay, so this is a little program you wrote for him to do something.
Exactly.
Which is to go to those hot spots you've marked with an X?
Hotspot 1, hotspot 2.
So let's say hotspot 1 was maybe the kitchen, go in the kitchen and get a drink, and hotspot 2 is go to the bedroom and pick up the slippers or whatever?
Right. So I'll just press play. What Cy will do now is he's going to calculate a path from his home base to point A.
All right, so his home base, he knows that's sort of 0, 0 on his map, right?
Exactly.
And he uses what's called dead reckoning?
Dead reckoning.
So he's calculating inside right now where things are.
Right, that's correct.
And you've told him go to that X first. And he's figuring it out, and he's going to the X. Again, he's not looking at the X, he just knows where it is.
We'll send him over.
All right, now you've told him go to the other X over there, which is a second mission. And he's going right there, too. And again, he just remembers from the sort of geometry where everything is.
That's correct.
So you have to send him home again?
I'm going to send him home.
All right, now, while he's going home, one of the things you said you can actually use this guy. I know you have a
Exactly.
vacuum cleaner
We
operation.
do.
You can plug the vacuum cleaner in and actually have him learn where things are and vacuum the room.
You can put a vacuum patch down anywhere like I've done here.
So we got some. Can I go over there and actually try to set that up?
Sure thing.
All right. So we have to wait for him to go home. So you tell me when I can touch him, okay,
Okay.
Russ? So he's again going to his like 0, 0
That's
home
correct.
base. And this is to make sure he knows where everything is in relationship
Right.
to home base. So you tell me when he's. So there are little metal terminals here I can see. That's what he's touching.
That's exactly
know
right. That's
that
his home
everything is
base.
cool?
That's his charging unit. Now, if you want to go ahead, Stewart, and
Do it.
put that bushing in.
All right. I'm going to plug the vacuum cleaner in here.
Exactly.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. Did I mess him up?
No, he's all right.
Okay. Stay still. Stay still, Si. Sorry you're making this hard on me. It's just like the dogs. Stay still. Ah!
Yeah, he's picking up sound there because you're touching his microphone.
Okay, I will avoid.
So he's actually dancing.
Oh, sorry about that, Si.
It's okay.
Let me try to get this little plug in here. Whoa! Vacuum cleaner's on.
Vacuum cleaner's on.
And we put some dirt on the floor over there. If we can see that, I'm not sure. And theoretically, Si knows where to go vacuum.
Exactly. Now, Si remotely turned on the vacuum cleaner through his power jack, through the PC.
So he's a little confused because I messed around with him, huh?
Yeah, he actually thought that he might be dancing,
Okay.
but he's
So-
squared away now.
He's looking around for where that. And again, you sort of told him, hey, this is the area of the floor I want you to vacuum.
Correct,
And
that's
he's
it.
doing it.
Exactly. This is a program that you
Look
can,
at
that you can design in your home. This is, just if you want him to vacuum the living room, vacuum the
that.
dining
That is
room.
pretty cool. All right, and the interesting thing about this is you can buy this
It's
thing.
affordable.
You got a website, personalrobots.com,
Exactly.
$695.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
On the West Coast, one of the leading centers for robot research and artificial intelligence has been SRI International in Menlo Park, California. They've been experimenting with robots for about 40 years now, and they've brought 2 new robots to show us, Pioneer 2 and Irby. And the human beings to do that are Kurt and Didier from SRI. Let me ask you first of all about the red robot there, Pioneer 2. What's so special about that?
Well, we've been doing research on real-time vision and map building. So it sees somewhat like a human would. It sees in stereo, and it can tell how far away things are using the stereo system and the laser rangefinder.
So it has 2 eyes,
has 2
and it can
eyes.
actually figure out where things are in real time. So it's not like dead reckoning. It literally looks like we do and says, that's the wall, I better go another way.
That's right. It's sensing the environment and keeping track of the environment. When it turns away, it remembers
So
where
it has
things
a
were.
memory for where things were.
That's
All right,
exactly
come
right.
around here so we can both look at this, and I want you to demonstrate Pioneer. So what you're going to do now is say, Pioneer, go somewhere. Again, it doesn't know the territory. It's
doesn't
going to
know
look
anything
around and
about
figure
it.
out how to do it.
That's right. So I'll
By
just give
looking.
I'll just give it a goal position, and you can see the map changing as it kind of figures out where things are. The things in green are current things that it's seeing. So I've sent it around or behind, and I'll just keep it going on its merry little way.
All right, so it's looking around, and it
It's
knows,
looking
hey, don't
around.
walk that way, don't walk that way. This is a clear path ahead of me.
Going behind there, and now it'll come out and come back to where
All right,
it
now,
was.
Didier, would you walk in front of it, see if in real time it sees an obstacle? Yeah, it
Yeah,
says
there
no,
it
don't
goes.
walk into that
Don't.
guy.
Get around.
That's
here.
a thing.
There it goes.
Okay, now what are we seeing on the computer?
On the computer, you can see kind of the map that it built. The things in green are things it currently sees, and the things in black are things that it saw before but remembers.
So that's now in its memory. That's
That's
the
in
wall.
its
Don't go
memory.
there next time. So it learns and gets better
Right.
as it goes.
And a global picture of that is here. Here's your studio. There's a lot of the walls that it found right here and the table legs and things like that. So it built up a global map, and it can pass that global map to another robot.
All right, you
Use it.
actually ran this in a very complicated
That's
environment,
right.
your office over at SRI, where it really mapped that entire building, didn't it?
That's right.
And you have a little film of that, an AVI
Right,
file.
I'll show you how that works. So here's an experiment where we ran the robot around the Pioneer 2. And here the hard part is figuring out that you've come to a place where you've been before. So as it goes around this corridor, it gets off a little bit, even though it's doing very good sensing. And when it figures out that it's come to another place, it just snaps that together.
And it's really real-time drawing a map of its environment.
That's right, and also correlating to find out that it's been somewhere before and
So I know
snapping
this
that
area,
together.
so walk a different place next time. Now, he's obviously got a problem here.
Right, so here he got way off, but he'll be looking at the old map and figuring out, oh, that must be a place I've been before.
And he cleans
Snap it
itself up
together.
and realizes what's
That's
really
right.
going on.
So here's a CAD map of the building just
So-
by running the robot around.
So he can see and he's He's intelligent. He figures out how to solve a problem.
Figures out how to do a map.
Let's go to Irby now over here. And what can we do with Irby?
Well, we built a map already with Sprout 2, and now we're going to send the Irby around. We've already passed that map to Irby, and its job is just to figure out where it is. It has no idea at this point where it actually is, and that's represented on the screen by these red dots. Those are all possible
Pioneer's
positions.
transferred its map over to Irby.
That's right.
But Irby doesn't know where he is in that world.
Irby has no idea where he is.
He's going to figure it out by looking around and saying, oh, that's the kind of thing Pioneer told me
That's
was
right.
there.
And you can see the red dots will gradually localize on the position, so it's trying to figure out where it is. Those dots represent possible positions, and as it moves around, it'll eventually just figure out that it must be in a certain position.
So it's like me being told, hey, make a left at that gas station, and
Right.
it says, oh, that must be a gas station you told me about.
That's exactly right.
Excellent.
So eventually there'll be just one position that it's at, and we've come to that position. You can see that it localized exactly where it is in the room.
All right, let's go back for the last thing, which is Pioneer. Pioneer also can distinguish people from things. Is that correct?
That's right. We want these robots to be aware of things that are in their environment. You don't want to have people just go by and it not know. So
right.
The stereo system here, we've programmed it to actually track people in real time, and Didier is going to illustrate that. So it just takes a snapshot of the background to see what's background, and now it can distinguish new things that come in,
Right.
and if they look like people, it can start to track them.
So it looks at Didier and he says, that's sort of shaped like a human being,
That's
that must
exactly
be a
right.
person. And how do we know from what we're seeing on the computer?
You can see the green rectangle drawn around Didier at this point, and in the map, he's also tracked his relationship to the robot.
Okay, so Green says, hey, that's a person. I know it's a person.
That's a
Number one,
person.
don't run into him. Number two, maybe report that there's an intruder
That's
in the
right.
building or whatever.
Send it out over the web. All this is web-enabled.
That's great stuff. Thank you both very much.
Sure.
All right, that's our look at the latest in robot technology. I'll be back in just a moment with my pick of the week, a great robot game. Don't miss it. Now for my pick of the week. If you love the game Lemmings, you've no doubt been waiting for another game to come along that matches the fun and problem-solving challenges of that classic. There were some Lemmings sequels, but they were never really as good as the original. But now the clever programmers at Lucas Learning have come out with the most fascinating problem-solving game I have seen since Lemmings. It is called Star Wars Pit Droids. In this game, instead of having to guide a bunch of lemmings to their home, you have to guide a bunch of robots to the next level. And the robots are just as stupid as the lemmings unless you intervene and teach them how to accomplish their mission. The game comes with over 300 puzzles to solve, some easy, some difficult, some seem impossible. They are all fascinating and challenging. As you advance in the game, the droids become more complex and break off into different droid groups with different capabilities. What you're really doing here is learning set theory, geometry, spatial relations, and mathematical functions. It is a great game, but beware, it is very hard to put down. It's called Star Wars Pit Droids from Lucas Learning. For more information, go to starwars.com/pitdroids. That's it for this edition of Computer Chronicles. Thanks for joining us. Please check out my weekly web radio show talking about this week. Just hit the radio link on the About.com homepage. We'll see you next time.
To purchase a videotape copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-310-7850. Please specify the show number and the topic.
The Computer Chronicles is brought to you by BigStar.com, with thousands of videos and DVDs for the whole family. Additional support by TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology news. And by TVA, Television Associates, bridging the worlds of computers and video with DVD authoring and MPEG encoding services.